Hello, welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger. The date is March 5th, 2023. You know, ever since I was a child, um, I was always told various ways to be successful, to be productive, to be useful. And even now, when you read materials on the self-help books and stuff like that, you see 101 ways to be successful, 200 ways to make yourself a happy person, 300 ways to make yourself uh, the love of someone's life. But I feel that there's a topic, there's an aspect of being a person that has often been neglected, and that is how to be an interesting person. Now, some people may say that why is that important? What is that even a saying? If someone finds me interesting, then someone find me interesting. If people don't find me interesting, that's their problem. Why should I know how to make myself into an interesting person? Well, there are two old Chinese says, uh, idioms, proverb, whatever you call them, that reflect on the sad state of the world today. The first one says you can find countless good looking people in the world. You can find countless successful people in the world. But sadly, you will have a hard time finding someone who is truly interesting to talk to. The second one is even more depressing. The second quote says, there are a lot of people in this world that actually died when they are 25. It's just not until they're 75 when they're finally buried. So that tells you just how many people out there that just people find not very interesting, and people who are 25 years old and up, and they already kind of like get defeated by the pressure they face in living and all the traumas and stuff that they have to face, and they're no longer interesting to talk to after 25. Also, why should we concern ourselves with being interesting? Well, the most direct answer I can give you is if you are an interesting person, and obviously not everybody is going to think you're interesting, but if you truly work at it, if you are an interesting person, by default, this will open up a lot of doors for you, whether it be work or social opportunities or love and relationship or even in your own family, you will get along with people much better when you are an interesting person. In our lifetime, there are a lot of things that we have that is just exclusively ours. You can be good looking, but you cannot give that good look away. Right? It's yours. It's just something that you can be intelligent, smart, got a degree, got 10 degrees, and those are yours. You can't give those away. You can pass on the knowledge, but you can't give the intelligence away. You can be successful, but you cannot give that away. That is yours. You know what you can actually give away is how you make people feel. Feeling is something that you can give to people. You can give people good feeling by being an interesting person, or you can give people bad feeling by being an obnoxious person, an uninteresting person, or a boring person. Okay, so part of wanting to be interesting is that because it is something that you can actually give to people around you, it's feeling. By being an interesting person, you can give away good feeling to people around you. Now you may wonder, Johnny Tiger, so are you saying that you are an interesting person? That what makes you so qualified to talk to us about this? Well, kind of, yes, yeah. I mean, a lot of time I actually tell people that I'm a really boring person, but do I really believe that? No. I think I am an extremely interesting person. This is why this is why that I'm here talking to you guys. Right? So why do I tell people I'm a boring person even though I truly believe that I am an interesting person? And hopefully you will know by the end of this video. So, uh, there's only 4 points. It's nothing. It's not very complicated. It may be difficult to achieve, but it's not very complicated. All you have to remember how to be an interesting person is this following 4 points. Number one, to be an interesting person, you have to remain interested. Curiosity is a wonderful thing. This is why so many people find children are so refreshing because children are forever curious. You can tell them about the most mundane, most boring stuff, and they will be blown away by, wow, you know why the sun set is to the west. Well, you know why the wind blows. You know how why the fish can't live on land. Things like that. I think that when you talk to adults, no one gives a damn. But talking to children, they'll think you are God when you tell them things like this. Okay? Because curiosity is wonderful. I don't know how many of you have had this experience. You're sitting down with a bunch of friends and you start talking about this and that, and the topics get around to fashion. And then someone in a group is going to say, I think fashion is stupid. I have no interest in that. It's boring. And then the conversation moves on, and then you start talking about football. And then that same person said, football is boring, it's all fixed anyway, I'm not interested in it, it's stupid. And then the conversation move on, and then you start talking about, well, martial arts. And this person said, I think martial arts is all fake, it's boring, it's stupid, not interested. Well, what are you going to talk to this person about? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to uh, talk to this person very often. You might still be their friend because they might be good people, okay? But you may not want to hang out with them very often because this is a person who, if it's nothing to do with them, if it's not their work, if it's not their something that they know, if it's not of their interest, they are not interested, they are not curious. Okay? So these people are horrible to talk to. So to be interesting, to be an interesting person, you have to stay interested. The kind of people that a lot of people love to talk to are people who know to ask questions, people who are paying attention, people who are interested, even though it's a topic that they know nothing about. Quite often, when I get on a bus, for example, I will ask the bus driver, hey, how long have you been driving the bus? It's a different driving a bus compared to driving a regular vehicle. Um, have you ever driven in other part of Canada? It's a different driving in other part of Canada. In the winter, what do you do when the snow is really bad? I have questions like that. Am I really going to drive a bus? No. Johnny Tiger will probably be blind for the rest of his life. Johnny Tiger will probably never drive a bus. But that does not mean that I'm not going to be interested in talking to a bus driver and learning about their lifestyle, learning about what they do. When I talk to a fisherman, I'm going to ask about fishing. I'm going to ask about pricing. What kind of fish they find easier to catch, and how big are the fish, and what are the rules? Does that mean that I try to be a fisherman someday? No, I'm probably never going to that lifestyle, but I'm interested. I'm curious. I want to learn what they know. I want to learn about their life, their thought process, and learn about what they do. So staying interested, staying curious is the first major step in making you an interesting person. Not to mention, a lot of people, especially people who are already interesting by applying point number two, which we will get to shortly, a lot of people who are interesting because of point number two, they love people who apply questions. They love people who ask questions. They love it when people give them a chance to talk about what they like to talk about. So a lot of time, if you see Johnny Tiger interacting with friends, you'll notice that Johnny Tiger talk a lot on videos. Johnny Tiger talk a lot when giving public speeches. But when I talk with friends, a lot of time I will not insert my own topic unless there's a drop in the conversation and I am keeping the conversation going. But if people already have something that they want to talk about, then I will keep giving them a little bit more to run with the conversation. Let's, for example, if I talk to my friend Harvey, who is a car mechanic, into fixing cars, then I will continue to ply him with questions. What exactly is an oil change? How do you do an oil change? How long does it take to do an oil change? Other than oil change, what else do you need to do to maintain the engine? Am I really wanting to learn these things? Not really, because I'll never drive a car in my life, but I'm interested nonetheless. And me being interested make him happy to talk to me because these are topics where he can feel very good when he talk about them. So being an interesting person means you have to, number one, stay interested. Number two, being an interesting person, you need to have something you can talk about. You have to have enough things in your head, in your brain, things stored up, trivias, knowledge, specialties, interesting facts, interesting little tidbits, things that you read, things that you saw. This is why, generally speaking, being interesting is not just telling dirty jokes. Right? If you're good at being a comedian, if you're good at telling jokes, you may be fun, but that does not make you interesting. An interesting person to talk to is someone who have a lot of knowledge that you might not have. The person who can look at things from a different angle that other people may not look at. Uh, so this is where, like I said earlier, it may not be complicated. It may be difficult because being interesting means you need to read and watch and learn and accumulate uh, different tidbits in your head. For example, when a bunch of people sit down to eat KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, when a bunch of friends sitting around the table eating KFC, if just like everybody that you just eat and throw the bones away and so on and so on, then you are just fulfilling your basic animal needs. You're eating, right? But if out of the group there's one person who can say, "Hey, do you guys know like how exactly do they breed this chicken and what kind of flavoring they use and where are these chicken raised? How old must the chicken be before they're cooked, they're butchered?" and so on and so on. Do you know that using you don't have to throw the bones away. You can actually bury them in the ground and they'll make good fertilizer, etc., etc. That immediately puts that person on a totally different level than the rest of the group because now this is a person who is interesting. This is a person who actually has something to say. And this, coupled with point number one, these are the 2 points why Johnny Tiger is actually an interesting person because I am very curious. I will not say I'm always curious because there are some topics where I just yeah absolutely no interest in. Um, but I am very curious, and Johnny Tiger does have uh, has accumulated a whole lot of random tidbits especially around Chinese mythology, Greek mythology, animal fact, and scientific fact, and all that stuff that some people think it's pointless, some people think it's geeky. But you know what? Life itself is pointless. Yeah, I know that sounded harsh, right? I think a lot of people, a lot of you guys probably think life has a meaning. Life, but whatever life's meaning is, it's up to you. If you want to make it bad, it can be bad. If you want to make it pointless, it's pointless. If you want to make it good, it can be really good. So life of its own is pointless. The only purpose we have on this earth is to procreate, which means after you have offspring, bye bye, you can go. You are no longer needed. Right? That sounds like life is just life, right? But you can make it so much better by learning and sharing and learning about what you think is geeky, pointless, useless things, because those are the kind of things that can make life interesting. And if you can make your life interesting, then you can be an interesting person. Number three, to be an interesting person, you have to be a character. What does that mean? What does that mean to be a character? You have to have your own personality. You have to have your own characteristic. Okay. If we do a poll on which of the four Ninja Turtles are the most interesting, I think you will find that it's either Michelangelo or Raphael. Nobody, hardly anybody, is going to say Leonardo is interesting. Hardly anybody is ever going to say Donatello is interesting. And why is that? Because Leonardo doesn't really have a character. It, Leonardo just basically does whatever is good, whatever is right, whatever is going to be get Sensei's approval. Donatello doesn't really have a character. Donatello just sit back and mess with gadgets and invent things. Michelangelo, on the other hand, this is someone who knows how to have fun. This is someone who will goof around, who will dance and do weird stuff that is unexpected, and someone who actually have emotion, right? That's why Michelangelo is interesting. Raphael, why is Raphael interesting? Because Raphael does what Raphael feels like. Raphael sticks to his gun. If you piss him off, he'll fight you. If he feels something needs to be done, he's off and gone. He just go and do it. So Michelangelo and Raphael are the two turtles that are always voted to be the most interesting out of the four turtles. And you can look at any other pop culture icons. Who is more interesting, Batman or Robin? I'll bet you most people will say Robin is more interesting. Batman might be cool, but Robin is more interesting. Uh, Batman may be badass, but Catwoman is way more interesting because these are characters that actually are characters. They have their own personality. Let me mention this right quick. This is one reason why Johnny Tiger is in love with his beautiful, intelligent girlfriend because Kitten is quite a character. Kitten is someone who will not just compromise. Kitten is someone who, if she's happy, she makes the room light up with how happy she is. If she's angry, she will make her wrath be felt a mile away. This is very refreshing because she does not play by the conventional rule. So if you want to be an interesting person, doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you want to just start trashing people's car and go out and blow up the world and stuff like that. Okay, then you are just a terrorist. You are just a vandal. A vandal. Uh, you are just a hoodlum. Okay, but to be an interesting person, you need to jump out of the conventional way. You need to get out of the box people put you in and have your own unique personality. You need to have your own unique thought and opinion, and don't be afraid to not compromise. Right? If you always compromise, if you always go along with the masses, then you are just one of the masses. You are just one, just like others. You will not be an interesting person. So to be an interesting person, point number three is you need to be a character. Number four, and this is really a big one. Okay, this is really a big one. Because if you only master number one, two, and three, and you don't work on number four, you will turn out to be a bit of an asshole. Okay, you'll be interesting, but you'll be an interesting asshole if you don't master number four. Number four is knowing the art of self-deprecation. Knowing the art of self-deprecation. One of the more interesting person I've ever met in was back when I was a dragon boater, and one of our team captain, he was this big, solidly built guy, but he was very interesting in that whenever he's approaching you or he's coming onto the boat or he's walking through the crowd, he'll proclaim loudly, "Whoa! Watch out! Big fat white guy coming through! Watch out! Big fat white guy coming through! Excuse me! Excuse me!" And that just like put a smile on people's face, and people instantly feel comfortable with him. And this is the art of self-deprecation. I know Kitten get annoyed with me sometimes because I'm very self-deprecating, and often I will say, it's like my talk about it. Oh, no, it's my blind ass or uh, ugly blind guy coming through, or oh God, I'm so ugly. Like, why do you even want me? And stuff like that. And she get mad at me. But do I really believe these things? No. But this is self-deprecation in session, right? Why do we need to be self-deprecating? Isn't that bad? Isn't that putting ourselves down? Isn't that low self-esteem? It's only low self-esteem. It's only putting yourself down if you truly believe it. Okay? It's only bad if you believe it. Like for me, I am totally fine walking around say fat blind guy coming through. It doesn't make me feel bad because I know it's not true. Yeah, I'm blind, but I'm not fat, right? By practicing self-deprecation, you are announcing to people around you, hey, this guy is okay. He's relaxed. You can criticize him. You can tell him these things. You can make joke about him. He's not going to get all offended and angry. So you put people at ease on what they can talk to you about. Okay? Because a lot of people, why do I crack joke about me being blind? Because a lot of people are uncomfortable talking to blind people. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I have people who say things like, do you watch TV? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you're blind. I can't say what. Do you listen to TV? And this is so awkward. Okay, people like, oh, your eyes, I said, yeah, I know, they don't work. Isn't that awful? Yeah, you know, and you put them at ease by addressing what they are uncomfortable to say, what they may want to say, they may want to talk about. You take that control out of their hand, put the control in your hand, you talk about it first. Okay? So if you can master the art of self-deprecation, then you will master the art of putting people at ease. Another example I'll give you guys, quite often after a martial arts session, I will stand up and I'll put my hand on my lower back and I'll go, oh, I'm getting too old for this crap. Do I really feel that way? No. Do I really feel that bad? No. So why do I say it? Because I know people around me are tired. I know people around me might be tired but afraid to say they're tired. So I'm giving them a chance to um, be at ease about thinking that they are tired without having to feel ashamed about it. I'm saying, oh, I'm getting so old. This is so tiring. So they can say, oh, yeah, it's so tiring. I feel I'm tired too, or I'm sore too. My knuckles are sore too, without having to feel ashamed of saying that. Because me being the sensei, I'm saying it, so they feel okay saying it themselves. It's my way of putting their mind at ease. So if you master number one, you are always interested. You master number two, you accumulate a lot of knowledge. And you master number three, you have a personality, you have a strong character. But you neglect to master number four. You are always serious. You don't crack a joke. You're not okay with joking about yourself. Then you're not going to be very interesting because people are afraid to say things around you. But if you master number four, you're okay with people joking about you. You're okay with joking about yourself. You're okay with talking about your own wheelchair, your own blindness, your own obesity, your own messy hair, your own gray hair. If you're okay with talking about things like that, talking about yourself, then you automatically uh, become a lot closer to being an interesting person. So a quick recap, although I already just did that, like, yeah, getting old and senile, you tend to repeat that a lot, and right there is self-deprecation in practice. So to recap ourselves, number one, you have to be interested. Curiosity, never let that curiosity die. Number two, have things in your head that you can talk about. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Never stop learning, never stop being curious, never stop accumulating knowledge. Number three, have your own characteristic, have your own personality. Don't just compromise, don't just agree with everybody. And number four, don't be scared to crack a joke about yourself. Practice the art of self-deprecation. And hopefully, if you work on this 4 points, you will find that people around you suddenly start to like hanging out with you more and more and more because now you are becoming an interesting person. Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. I'll be back again tomorrow for Music Monday. For now, have a good night.